Most people think making $10 in a month is about working harder, selling more, or chasing every shiny business opportunity out there, but that's a lie. The real secret, it's about creating an offer so irresistible, people feel like they'd be losing money if they didn't buy it. Today, I'm breaking down my 3-step offer framework, the same one I've used to consistently generate 5-figure months, and showing you exactly how you can do it too, starting right now. When I first started in business, I made the same mistake almost everybody makes. I was obsessed with my product. I thought, if I just make it better, shinier, more features, people will buy it. But here's the brutal truth. Nobody cares about your product. They care about their problem. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can start making real money. People don't wake up in the morning thinking, man, I wish I had a course on productivity, or I'd love to buy a coaching package. They wake up thinking, I'm tired of feeling overwhelmed, or I can't keep living paycheck to paycheck, or I hate looking in the mirror and not recognizing myself. That's the conversation already going on in their head. And if you can step into that conversation, you win. Most entrepreneurs start by thinking, what do I want to sell? Instead, flip it. Ask, what urgent pain is my audience desperate to solve? Not a mild inconvenience, not a someday problem. I mean something that's costing them time, money, confidence, or relationships every single day. They don't fix it. That's where the gold is. Because when you tap into a problem that's burning a hole in someone's life, you don't have to beg for the sale. They're already looking for a lifeline. I want you to picture this for a second. Imagine you're walking down the street and someone's drowning in a lake. Do you think you need to convince them to grab the life preserver? No. You throw it, they grab it, and they're grateful. That's exactly what a well-positioned offer feels like. You're not pushing, you're pulling. You're showing up with the exact thing they need in the exact moment they need it. But you can't do that unless you've taken the time to really understand their pain. And I'm not talking about surface level pain, like they want to lose weight. That's too vague. I'm talking about the 3M pain, the thoughts that keep them awake at night. I'm scared I'll never feel confident in my body again. I'm terrified I'll be stuck in this dead-end job for the rest of my life. I feel like I'm failing my family. That's the level of intimacy you need with your market. Here's the problem. Most people are scared to go that deep. They're afraid of making people uncomfortable. But guess what? Discomfort is the bridge to transformation. When you can articulate someone's pain better than they can, they will automatically believe you have the solution. Why? Because you've proven you understand them. And in business, understanding is currency. So how do you get that level of clarity? You listen more than you talk. You get on calls with potential customers and just ask questions. You dive into forums, comment sections, and social media groups where your audience hangs out. You pay attention to the words they use, the emotions they express, the frustrations they repeat over and over. You become a student of their reality. And when you speak back to them in their own language, your offer doesn't feel like marketing. It feels like relief. Another big mistake people make is trying to sell prevention instead of cure. Selling prevention is like trying to convince someone to start flossing so they won't get cavities in 10 years. Good luck. Selling the cure is offering them the pain relief they need right now because their tooth is throbbing. If you want fast results, start with the cure. Once they trust you, you can sell prevention all day long. But if your first offer is about a problem they don't feel urgency around, you're going to struggle to make sales no matter how good your product is. And let me be clear, this is not about manipulating people. It's about aligning your solution with the reality of their struggle. If you genuinely believe what you offer can change someone's life, you have a responsibility to position it in a way that makes them feel the weight of not taking action. Think about it. If you had the cure for someone's problem and you kept it hidden behind boring, generic marketing, who loses? They do. You're doing them a disservice by not connecting with their real pain. So before you write another sales page, before you launch another ad, before you create another fancy logo or website, stop. Go back to the basics. Ask yourself, do I truly know the pain I'm solving? Can I describe it so clearly that the person listening feels like I've been reading their mind? Because until you can do that, everything else is just noise. When you know the pain, the product sells itself. Once you've locked in on the pain you solve, the next step is turning that understanding into a promise so compelling that your audience can't ignore it. And here's where most people drop the ball. They take all that insight, all that emotional connection they've built, and they water it down into something forgettable, like, I help people get healthier, or I help businesses grow. That's not a promise. That's a vague statement that could apply to 1,000 other people. A real promise is specific, it's bold, and it paints such a clear picture of the end result that the person hearing it can't help but imagine themselves there. Think about the difference between I help people lose weight, and I help busy parents drop 20 pounds in 90 days without giving up their favorite foods. The first is a concept. The second is a vision. It tells me exactly how much weight, how long it'll take, and reassures me I don't have to sacrifice something I love. That's what makes it irresistible. People need to see the finish line before they start running. And here's something you need to understand. Your promise isn't about what you do. It's about what they get. Nobody buys coaching because they want sessions. Nobody hires a consultant because they want calls. They're buying a transformation. They're investing in a future version of themselves that's free from the pain you just described in step one. Your job is to make that future so real, so tangible that they start to feel it before they've even paid you. One of the simplest ways to do this is to make your promise measurable. The human brain loves specifics. If you tell me I'll make more money, that's nice but vague. If you tell me I'll add $1,000 to my monthly income within 8 weeks, my brain latches onto that. It gives me something to hold on to, something to believe in. And when you can combine that level of clarity with the emotional relief they're craving, you've got a promise that sells itself. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what if I can't guarantee a specific result? Fair question. The truth is, you don't have to promise something unrealistic or unethical. You just have to promise something that feels like a big win and is backed by your process. Instead of guaranteeing an outcome, you can frame it as the typical results your clients achieve or the transformation they're most likely to experience if they follow your system. The key is to set the bar high enough that it excites them, but grounded enough that it's believable. Believability is a huge piece of this. If your promise sounds too good to be true, it will actually work against you. People have been burned before. They've seen wild claims with nothing to back them up. That's why your promise needs to be both bold and backed by proof. Share stories, testimonials, and examples of real people who've achieved what you're promising. Show them the receipts. When your bold statement is supported by undeniable evidence, skepticism turns into trust. Another thing to remember is that your promise should address both the logical and emotional sides of your audience. Logically, they want to know what they'll get: the money, the time savings, the weight loss, the skill they'll master. But emotionally, they want to know how they'll feel. The confidence, the freedom, the relief, the pride. If you can blend those two elements in your promise, you'll hit them where it matters most. And don't be afraid to make your promise sound exciting. Too many entrepreneurs sanitize their message to sound professional and end up sounding boring. People aren't inspired by blandness. They're inspired by vision. Use vivid language. Paint pictures. Let them feel the joy of their future success like it's already happening. If your promise doesn't make them lean forward in their chair, it's not strong enough. At the end of the day, your promise is the bridge between their pain and your solution. It's the reason they'll listen, the reason they'll believe, and the reason they'll take action. If your promise is weak, nothing else you say will matter. But when your promise is strong, clear, bold, believable, and emotionally charged, it becomes magnetic. People won't just want your offer, they'll feel like they need it. When you master this, your audience stops seeing you as just another option and starts seeing you as the only option. Pricing is one of those areas that makes a lot of people nervous. They either undersell themselves because they're afraid of scaring people away, or they slap a number on their offer without giving any thought to how it's presented. And here's the truth. People don't make buying decisions based on price alone. They make decisions based on perceived value. If they believe your offer is worth 10 times what you're asking, the price suddenly feels small. That's where price anchoring comes in. Price anchoring is about creating a frame of reference before you ever reveal your actual price. Human brains are wired to compare. If I tell you my coaching program is a $3 and that's the first number you hear, you might think, wow, that's expensive. But if I walk you through the total value of what you're getting, if I show you how just one part of my process could save you a $10,000 a year, or how the bonuses alone would cost a $400 or $500 if bought separately, suddenly that $3,000 looks like a steal. The number hasn't changed, but the context has. Think of it like this. If I offer you a bottle of water for a $5 on the street, you might laugh and walk away. But if we're in the middle of the desert, you've been walking for hours, and I explain that this water was flown in because there's none for miles, you'll happily pay. Same water, same 5 different perceived value. That's the power of framing. The key to doing this well is to stack your value in a way that makes the transformation you're offering feel priceless. Start by breaking down every element of your offer. The main product, the bonuses, the access to you, the community, the tools, and attach a real-world value to each one. Don't just throw out random numbers, make them believable. If a one-on-one consultation with you normally costs a $500, say so. If the template package you're including would cost a $300 if sold separately, point it out, add them up, show them the total. Then, and only then, reveal your actual price. What you're doing here is guiding their mind to see your price as a bargain compared to the total value. It's not manipulation, it's education. You're helping them understand why your offer is worth what you're charging. Most buyers have no idea what goes into creating a program, service, or product. They see the finished thing, not the years of experience, trial and error, and resources behind it. When you anchor your price with real value, you pull back the curtain. Another layer to price anchoring is comparison with alternatives. If someone could try to solve their problem on their own, how long would it take? How much would it cost in mistakes, wasted time, and missed opportunities? If they went to a competitor, what would they charge? And what would they leave out that you include? You don't have to badmouth anyone, but you can confidently show that your offer delivers more for the same or less. And remember, price anchoring isn't just about making your price look small. It's also about making it feel like an investment rather than an expense. An expense is money that disappears. An investment is money that multiplies. If you can show how your offer leads to measurable gains, whether it's increased income, saved time, better health, or improved relationships, the price starts to feel like the smart move they can't afford not to make. I've seen so many people make the mistake of apologizing for their price or rushing to discount it because they're uncomfortable. When you truly believe in the value of what you're selling, you don't shrink back from your number. You present it with confidence because you know it's fair and you've already shown them it's worth far more. Confidence is contagious. If you hesitate, they will too. If you own your price, they'll feel safe investing in you. The magic happens when the person looking at your offer thinks, I can't believe I'm getting all this for that price. That's when resistance melts away. They stop thinking about what it costs and start thinking about what it gives. That's when buying becomes the obvious choice. When you anchor your price the right way, you don't just sell more. You attract buyers who are excited and grateful to pay you. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they put together an offer is treating time like it's unlimited. They present something amazing, but then they leave it open-ended. There's no reason for the buyer to act now, so they don't. Human nature is to delay decisions, even good ones, because our brains would rather avoid commitment until the last possible second. That's why scarcity and urgency are so powerful. They cut through hesitation and force a decision. Now, when I say scarcity and urgency, a lot of people instantly think of sleazy countdown timers or fake only 3 left claims. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating genuine, truthful reasons for someone to take action now instead of later. It might be a limited number of spots because you can only work with so many clients at once. It might be a bonus that disappears after a certain date because it's tied to a specific event or resource. It might be a price increase because you're adding more value to the offer. These are all real, honest forms of urgency. Scarcity works because it triggers the fear of missing out. When something is limited, people naturally want it more. Think about concert tickets. If you hear a band is playing in your city, but tickets are available anytime, you'll probably put off buying. But if you hear they're almost sold out, you'll drop everything to grab yours. The product didn't change. Your desire did simply because of scarcity. Urgency works for a slightly different reason. It forces a timeline. Most people live with a someday mindset. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll get in shape. Someday I'll learn that skill. But someday never comes unless you create a reason it has to be today. When there's a deadline, the decision can't float around forever. They either commit or walk away, and that clarity actually helps them feel more certain about their choice. The key is to make your scarcity and urgency feel natural, not forced. If it's obvious that you're just trying to pressure people, it backfires. People are smart. They can smell a fake deadline a mile away. That's why your reason for urgency has to be tied to something real. If you're offering a bonus, explain why it's only available for a limited time. Maybe you can only provide that extra support for the first group, or maybe the resource is seasonal. If you have a limited number of spots, tell them exactly why. Maybe you want to give each person personal attention, and you know you can only handle 15 clients at once. When people understand the reason, the urgency feels fair and legitimate. Another important piece is to communicate the consequence of waiting. Don't just say, this offer ends Friday. Say, after Friday, the price goes up by $500, and you'll miss out on the bonus one-on-one call that could help you hit your first a 5K month faster. Make it clear what they stand to lose, not just what they gain by acting now. Loss aversion is a powerful motivator. People hate losing something they could have had. But here's the thing, scarcity and urgency only work if the offer itself is strong. You can't put a weak, unappealing offer on a countdown and expect people to suddenly want it. Scarcity amplifies what's already there. If your offer is irresistible, scarcity makes it magnetic. If your offer is mediocre, scarcity just makes people feel rushed and resentful. So always build the value first, then layer in urgency. And when the deadline or limit arrives, you have to follow through. If you say the bonus ends Friday, it ends Friday. If you say the price goes up, it goes up. If people see that you don't stick to your word, you'll destroy trust. But if you keep your promises, even the ones that mean saying now, after the deadline, you actually strengthen your credibility. When you use urgency the right way, you're not pressuring people. You're helping them make a decision that serves them. You're protecting them from the trap of endless procrastination. And when they take action and start seeing results, they'll thank you for not letting them wait. That's how you turn hesitation into commitment. The final piece of building an offer that consistently makes serious money is delivering such a powerful result that your customers can't help but talk about it. Think about it. When you over-deliver, you're not just fulfilling a transaction, you're creating an experience. And experiences are what people remember, share, and recommend. Most entrepreneurs are so focused on getting the sale that they forget the real money is in what happens after the sale. A happy customer doesn't just buy once. They buy again. They bring their friends and they become walking, talking advertisements for your business. Too many people stop at the bare minimum. They give exactly what was promised and nothing more. Technically, that's fine, but it's not remarkable. And if it's not remarkable, it won't be remembered. The fastest way to stand out in a noisy marketplace is to surprise people with value they didn't expect. Maybe that's an extra bonus you throw in after they buy. Maybe it's a personal check in to see how they're doing. Maybe it's solving a problem they didn't even realize they had. These small touches make a huge difference because they show that you actually care about their success, not just their payment. When you create genuine transformations, people become emotionally invested in you and your brand. And when they feel that connection, they'll tell others about you without you having to ask. This is the foundation of word of mouth marketing, which is still the most powerful form of advertising on the planet. A recommendation from a friend carries far more weight than any ad or email ever could. But you don't get those recommendations by asking for them first. You earn them by delivering more than expected every single time. One thing I've learned is that delivering results doesn't just mean giving them the information or the product. It means helping them get the outcome they came for. If you sell a fitness program, your job isn't just to hand over the workout plan. Your job is to make sure they actually follow it, get results, and feel proud of what they've achieved. If you sell a marketing service, your job isn't just to run ads. It's to help them see measurable growth in their business. It's the result that builds loyalty, not the process. This is where follow-up becomes your secret weapon. Most sellers disappear after the transaction, but the real pros stick around. They check in, they offer support, they celebrate wins. This not only helps your clients succeed, but it also keeps you top of mind. When they think about who helped them get to where they are, your name is the first that comes up. And when someone else in their life needs the same thing, you're the one they recommend without hesitation. Another advantage of delivering exceptional results is that it makes your marketing easier and cheaper. Every success story you create becomes a testimonial you can share. Every happy client becomes a case study that proves your promise works. This social proof is like rocket fuel for your sales process. Instead of you trying to convince people your offer is worth it, your clients are doing it for you. And here's the best part. When your results speak for themselves, you can raise your prices without pushback. People will pay more for a solution they know works. If they've heard from someone they trust that you deliver on your promise, the price becomes a secondary consideration. You stop competing on cost and start competing on quality, and that's where the real profit lies. So if you want an offer that doesn't just sell well but sustains your business long term, focus on what happens after the sale as much as before it. Make it your mission to help your clients succeed at the highest level possible. Give them reasons to remember you, to talk about you, and to come back to you. Because when your customers become your biggest fans, you don't just have a business, you have a movement. When you deliver results that exceed expectations, you don't just close a sale, you open the door to a lifetime of loyalty and referrals. Here's the conclusion, the same motivational, seamless style to wrap the entire speech. At the end of the day, making a $10 in a month or any number you set your sights on isn't about luck, guesswork, or chasing every new trend that comes along. It's about building something that's structured, intentional, and irresistible. You start by understanding the exact pain you solve so deeply that people feel like you've been inside their head. You craft a promise so clear and compelling that they can see and feel the transformation before it happens. You stack the value and anchor the price so powerfully that what you're asking feels small compared to what they're getting. You create real urgency that moves people out of maybe later and into action today. And then you deliver in such a way that your clients can't help but become your greatest advocates. This isn't theory, it's a framework that works consistently, predictably, and without needing to compromise your integrity. If you put these steps into play, not only will you build an income you're proud of, you'll build a reputation that makes your business unstoppable. The question now isn't whether this can work for you. It's how soon you're willing to start.